Good morning, Ravens. This is Associate Principal Terry Jess coming to y'all today to talk about what's happening after spring break. I know we're all excited about spring break starting in a couple of days. I hope you all get lots of rest, lots of family time, whatever you need to fill your cup. But one of the things that we are hoping to address in fourth quarter is, unfortunately, we've been seeing a lot of tardies throughout the day, not just first period, students that are just not getting to class on time and need some support in doing so. And so we are going to be rolling out a new on-time engagement plan here at Juanita High School. I've had the opportunity over the last couple of weeks to sit with groups of students, groups of parents, and staff to help determine what is the best interventions to kind of get us going and to see if we can alter this trajectory. We know since the pandemic that school has looked different and has been different, and we want to be cognizant of what everybody's experiencing and make sure that whatever we implement has plenty of grace to help y'all to thrive at Juanita High School. And so you may remember attendance workshop from first quarter, that if a student got 5 or more tardies, that they came to an attendance workshop to work with us, really trying to find out what was the barriers, what were the obstacles to getting into it. But then there was no follow-ups after that. So our new plan is going to engage in some of those things. So I'm going to pull that up and show y'all. So some of the things that we're trying to ensure that we're doing school-wide to make sure that everybody is being able to get to class on time, but also to be fully engaged while in class. Our teachers, right, have been encouraged and have received training on providing culturally responsive materials, to build positive relationships and to co-construct the learning space with you. So we hope that you're starting to experience that, starting to see that throughout this year. And if not, feel free to discuss it with your teachers and with your administrators. We're kind of shifting just so everybody's clear what a tardy means. So a tardy means you are not in the class when the bell rings, or that you are abusing the hallway pass privileges and are being gone for longer than the 5 minutes that we allow for a pass. Now, if there's something that comes up, that is takes you a little bit longer, or you need to, it's going to take a little bit longer, just communicate with your teachers. But this is really when people leave class and they're gone for much longer than they should be. And it's not for any reason other than they, decided to go to take a longer break without communicating that to their teacher. So you can be marked tardy if you are out of class for more than 5 minutes. So either of those things, either that you are not in class when the bell rings at the beginning, or that you're there. That doesn't mean that you're not in your desk. It just means that you're not in the room, right? That's what you can be marked tardy for, is either of those two things. Teachers are trying to greet students at the door to welcome you into class, encourage people in the hallways that the class is about to start to get to where they need to do, and should have starting tasks or, bell ringers for you, tasks that you should be completing as the class starts. Also want to emphasize, part of our engagement is that we do have a school-wide policy that cell phones should be away during instructional time unless otherwise directed by the teacher or your co-constructed classroom agreements. And so you may notice signs are going up in classrooms. This is just a reminder that this is our school-wide policy, right? In order to be fully present and fully engaged in our academics, our cell phones do need to be away, and that includes our AirPods. Unless the teacher is otherwise directed that you can listen to them during independent work time. Teachers are taking attendance in the first 5 minutes. And then, of course, we do not allow the pass in the first 5 minutes of class or the last 5 minutes of class, ensuring that everybody is there to get engaged and is there to be able to wrap up and ensure that they know what tasks they need to do between the end of class and the next class. And so do your best. I know you have a passing period and it may not be enough time to use the restroom. Just go to class, and then after about 5 minutes, you'll be able to use the pass, okay? And then we are rolling out talent tickets. You may have seen this for those that are on time to class consistently and have less than 2 tardies in a week. You will receive opportunity to get a talent ticket. Those talent tickets will go into drawings. We will be doing weekly raffles and monthly raffles with larger prizes to celebrate Ravens that are doing their jobs and getting to class on time and being fully engaged. And so be on the lookout for those. Now, what happens if you are tardy, at Juanita High School? Well, we want to make sure that we have grace, right? That things happen, the week is long, traffic is terrible during first period, all those things. We want to make sure we have grace. And so when a Raven gets more than five or more tardies in a given week is when we think that you're moving beyond, the occasional slip up and might need some additional intervention. So when you get five or more tardies in any given week, and this for each quarter, we're going to kind of reset. So we're starting with fourth quarter this year, see how it goes, and we'll talk about next year, but it should reset every quarter. So if you get five or more tardies, you're going to get an email, right? And in that email, you're going to have three choices that you can do. Once per quarter, you can complete a feedback form to tell us what's going on, right? What are there barriers? Because nobody should be getting in trouble for things that are outside of their control. So this is your opportunity to fill out a forms, explain to us kind of what's going on, your views on your tardies, as well as if there's any barriers. And barriers can be a lot of different things, right? It could be the traffic in the morning, it could be anxiety, it could be relationship issues with either people in the class or teachers in the class. And so identify those things for us, and we'll be able to work with you to try to overcome those barriers so that we don't see discipline escalating based off of continued increased tardies and lack of engagement. So that feedback forms is one option. Then detention, right? Lunch detention or after school detention on Thursdays or Wednesdays are going to be an option for you to do. Now, again, trying to extend grace and give you some agency. Not only do we give you some choices, but even within detention, you can schedule your own, which lunch detention you want to do, or which after school detention you want to do. So you have the opportunity to do that through a bookings form I'll show you in a moment. And then the last one is you can do an active service, right? Like by being late that many times, you're taking away from community, your time in community, your contributions, as well as what others are contributing to. And so this is an opportunity to pay back and give back to the community. There'll be a list of options that you'll be able to check out, work with teachers, work at things around the building, or in volunteering in the community and getting that verified and in lieu of doing a detention or the forms. Now, remember, the forms is only once every quarter that you can do that. The other ones will have to go through. So this tier of intervention is utilized when students have five or more tardies for a maximum of 3 weeks in a quarter. So the first week, second week, and third week that you have five or more tardies, this list is available to you with, again, the feedback. So you'll get an email that looks like this. Let's make sure that I share correctly. Yeah, okay. So you'll get an email on Friday. You have five or more tardies. At the end of the day, we get a report for the week, and you will get an email from me, and it'll notify you that, hey, as the end of the day on Friday, you have five or more recorded tardies. Part of the Raven way is being respectful and timely to class. Due to the amount of tardies, we've identified you as needing intervention to best support you in your success at Wadena. So you have from Friday when you get the email till Monday at 3 p.m. to make your choice. You can complete the feedback form, and so you'll see the link here in the email. You can click on that, and it will take you to this Microsoft Forms page. Tardy intervention form, hit start now. Put in your first name, your last name. To what extent do you agree with the following statements? From strongly disagree to strongly agree. And then you have a chance to elaborate. Are there any barriers? This is where saying you can put in barriers. Are there any people or classes that you try to avoid when you're late, and why? And then is there anything else important? So you can complete that as one of your options. If you've already done that in the fourth quarter, or you choose not to do that forms, you can schedule your detention. And so click this link, and it will open up our bookings website for our Raven Reset Room. And then you launch detention. So you'll choose your week. So let's say first week you get it and you want to go for Tuesday. We have first lunch and second lunch. You just click on it and then put in your name, your email, and hit book. And that will assign you to that one. We have about 10 slots per lunch detention. So space is limited. So the earlier you do this, the better. And then if you choose not to do any of those things, you want to do an active service, what you have to do Monday by 3 is do the active service notification form. And so you're going to click on this link here, and then it will bring up this quick forms where you just put in your first name, last name, what active service you're going to complete. And then do you acknowledge that you must turn in a signed service verification form by Friday at 5 p.m. or receive detention the following week? only choice is yes, and then submit that to let us know that you're going to do it. Now, if by Monday at 3 p.m., we either have seen that you've done the feedback form, we've seen that you've booked your own detention, or you've submitted the service notification form, then you have chosen your intervention and you're good to go. If we don't see that by Monday at 3 p.m., we will schedule you a detention and notify you of when you will be serving detention. So if you end up doing the active service, you'll be able to pick up this slip from Mr. Ivy to do the signed verification form, or you can print it out yourself, but it is available for everyone to access and be able to view and print. And it's very simple. Active service verification form. You have the person who's supervising your service fill this out and then turn that in by Friday. All right, so that is the first tier. That's the first level, right? And so for 1 to 3 weeks. Now, most of our students, over 80% of our students, won't even get to this point. They won't have more than 5 tardies in a week. About 20% of our students will engage in this at some point during fourth quarter, based off our data from earlier in the year. And so if you have 1, 2, or 3 weeks of 5 or more tardies in any given quarter, this is the tier that you stay in. Now, if the pattern of behavior continues and you get into 4 or 5 weeks of 5 or more tardies, you're going to go to the next level of intervention. And this will be an administrator meeting with your associate principal and your parent and you, right? And so we will meet together as a team to try to figure out what exactly is going on, what is going to be the best solution moving forward to ensure that you are getting to class on time and engaging fully. So we'll have the meeting. You also may have a greater consequence, like an hour-long after-school detention, up to 3 lunch detentions in a week, or 2 hours of service. It'll depend, and based on the conversation with you and your parents. We also may temporarily remove privileges. You may lose parking pass, you may lose your off-campus pass, you may use your ability to use the hall pass, kind of a no-fly zone, or attendance at specific school events, right? So this is going to be really important as things like prom, homecoming, school dances, big sports events, those types of things come up that you want to make sure that you're not at this level, right? So that you're able to enjoy all of the privileges of being at this school. So that's 4 to 5 weeks. Now, if it continues and we get to 6 or more, we're going to have, a much different conversation and do some intensive support. Probably establishing a behavior support plan with your family, and then you may be assigned Wednesday school, which will happen after 6th period from 12:45 to 3:30, really focusing on academic makeup. Important to note that while you're in detention, lunch detention, after school detention, or Wednesday school, no phones are allowed and laptops will not be allowed if you are playing games. You are allowed to do schoolwork or to read. You are not allowed to socialize. You are not allowed to be on your phones. And so we really want to make sure that we are helping support you, and we have to establish accountability. This is the challenge of it all, is how do we be gracious, but also make sure that we maintain the expectation that in order for us all to thrive in our learning, we all need to have certain things. We do, you do, our community does. And so this is going to be rolled out in fourth quarter. We're going to be looking at how it impacts students. We're going to see if it helps. We're going to get student feedback about how is this process going, what is being affected, what is not, and then hopefully we'll be able to move forward. So thank you, Ravens. I know it's never fun when you haven't had consequences to have new consequences put in, but we hope that this will be the right move to ensure that everybody is thriving. And you can always come and chat with us if you are struggling or having any issues. So thank you and have a wonderful spring break. We'll see you in fourth quarter.